Greece is going to default. It's inevitable. The only question is when rather than whether. Why is Greece going to default? Because it moved on to the euro and it crippled itself. It can't devalue. It has no choice. It has to default on its billions of dollars in euro-denominated debt. But underneath that reason is another reason, which is that it doesn't cost, or didn't cost up until very recently, Greece very much money to borrow billions and billions of euros. We had this thing called the convergence trade, where all of the European countries borrowed at very low interest rates. This was like giving candy to a 4-year-old. Greece historically had to pay a high interest rate in order to borrow because everyone knew that Greece had no ability to manage its finances, and that high interest rate acted as a constraint on Greece's finances. When it joined the euro, the interest rate fell and suddenly it could borrow all it wanted and now it's in trouble. Now this bodes ill over the long term for the United States, which has exactly the same issue. The United States has very, very low borrowing costs. And because its borrowing costs are so low, it can have a debt level of 100% of debt to GDP if it wants, and it can still manage to roll over those debts because they're cheap. If you're giving America essentially free money, it will take it. And that's what we did with the people who took out all of their home equity lines of credit and whatnot. You said 2% money, and everyone said, great, I'll take that 2% money, and then they wound up defaulting. So what we're seeing is the debt dynamics getting very scary in the United States, not because it's costing a lot of money for America to roll over its debts right now and make its interest payments right now, but just because the sheer level of debt is so high. And then, of course, the other side to that coin is the question of Social Security, unfunded pension liabilities. These things are debts in a way. They're future obligations of the government, but they carry no interest payments at all. You don't need to make a coupon payment on an unfunded pension liability. And so no one even thinks about those things until it's far too late. So although people think that low interest rates are a good thing and that cheap credit is a good thing and that it creates economic growth, in fact what it creates is big problems down the road, and the chickens are coming home to roost now in Greece, and eventually they're going to come home to roost in many other countries as well.